would have been interesting to see. As Forsaken Archer is the talk of the town here. But as you can see on the screen here, this is the updated standings for DreamHon. So you can see who is where. Of course, Black Fade 2-0 and Trademark Esports 1-0. So both teams undefeated going into this match.
Yeah, so obviously, though, again, for Black Fade, with the very difficult challenge already against Fnatic out of the way, maybe you can argue a little bit better in that sense.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, 2-0 over 1-0 is good. So, on that note, too, you know, as far as our coverage plan for today, and for those that have checked it out, we go to DreamHon.com. Of course, you can find it. It does let you know that our schedule that we're planning to cover today, all throughout today, tomorrow, and even through the third day for a special event that we got going on, which we'll have more information on in just shortly, which we'll tell you guys. But we're covering a lot of Black Fade today.
Yeah.
I think 5 or 6 matches even are Black Fade. So
yeah,
get to see them a lot.
Yeah, I guess it's just sort of luck, I suppose, that they're winning and we're casting them. It works out quite well. I suppose it would be a little depressing just to see the same team get slaughtered over and over. So at least seeing the same team win over and over. Yeah, on a positive note. Yeah, that's definitely good. I'm actually really excited to see tdM here in full force.
Me too.
Because,
yeah.
you know, tdM has definitely been a little bit rocky with their online play recently, especially thanks to Diablo 3, I think, is the primary culprit. And as we mentioned in that introduction ceremony, Moonmeander's actually quit Diablo 3 altogether. He told me totally sold his character to prep for this. So we'll see. Hopefully they've been practicing hard, and that practice will pay off. As you can see the roster right there on your screen.
There you go. That's the trademark roster. You got Tralfamador, Sender, Moonmeander, Z-Freak, and B-Kid. So, of course, a North American powerhouse team. Definitely a lot expected out of this event. Out of them in this event. We'll see. This is definitely their first challenge, you could say. They're really the first big hurdle. So we are actually in the game now, though. The players have started now selecting banning heroes. So I think it's just about time. Zero, once again, you ready, man?
I am ready.
All right, let's go ahead and look to do this, guys. Blackfade.org taking on Trademark Esports here. What is the third game for BxF, the second game for tdM. Again, it goes to really show you, too. We've already casted 3 matches. Obviously, been here for a while already, but it kind of is just getting started still. I mean, here we are. We still got plenty more today, plenty more tomorrow before we find out who eventually the champion will be and take part of their $60,000 prize pool. So much is on the line.
Yeah.
Cannot stress that enough.
Exactly right. And it's really cool to see these back-to-back best-of-1 series here in the group play because, I mean, from the caster perspective, this is a treat. It's really pretty rare we see best-of-1 games. So the variety of teams that we're seeing here is absolutely fantastic. As we just mentioned, we've seen Black Fade quite a bit, but it is very cool to see all these teams facing off against one another to really see how they fare in this kind of a format.
Yeah. Again, I'm definitely intrigued just like you with tdM. We've already seen BxF twice, obviously very impressive. I haven't seen tdM, though. Again, a little bit shaky in the beginning against GA, but they were sure enough the sure victors at the end of that. Obviously, again, the first big challenge, really. So what will they do against BxF? A win here would definitely say, all right, they were getting their jitters out maybe initially, and now here they are. This is the tdM team that we expected. So can't wait to see what they bring to the table here in this game. And, of course, Moonmeander making his first trip out to Sweden. He was the only player out of these 5 right here that didn't get the chance to come out to Sweden last time. So I'm sure he's enjoying himself as well. Always fun to see him, too.
Yeah, I mean, I did get to bump into tdM at the LAN Center last night, and they were practicing hard. So certainly they have something in store for us. Yeah. But, you know, per usual here, band's complete. What do you say we take a look?
Let's take a look indeed. And I think the first thing that stands out is no Predator ban, as Mzai so elegantly stating right there. No, but as far as the actual bans go, we are dealing with Magebane, Polywog Priest, and Amphora, Armadon, Tundra, Magmus, Moraxis, and then who is that guy up there? Sandwraith with a final ban by BxF. And now we have seen a little bit of Sandwraith play in recent competitive pawn history, and Tralfamador for tdM has been the one playing it. So I wonder, too, if maybe even very recently in practicing and whatnot, they've also been running it. So some research being done there by BxF.
I can certainly vouch. Actually, the one game I got to watch yesterday, they ran a Sandwraith. So I don't know if that's just sampling variants or if they've been running Sandwraith that much. But they certainly have been mixing him in quite a bit. And to some degree of success, it will. Of course, Sandwraith just received a buff somewhat recently with that Desert's Curse, you know, much more effective now. It's, those Deserted as well as Desert's Curse now work together. So we'll see. Of course, no Sandwraith in this game. So it's sort of interesting. But as you mentioned, BxF definitely doing their research here.
Yeah, definitely. So now that did leave open a couple of heroes. Mind you, a couple of the ones that were picked up early on in this picking stage. Go figure. Of course, you got your Pebbles, your Silhouette. Speaking of that, though, Silhouette, Glacius, and Aluna lining up so far in tdM. And obviously, seeing that Silhouette, I wouldn't be too surprised to maybe eventually see that swap to Moon Meander. And seeing the great Moon Meander Silhouette play as he does from time to time. So you can say BxF going a little bit risky there, allowing them to have that hero. But they did get a Pebbles Bubbles or the Pubbles combination here to start things off. So
yes, indeed. You know, they also banned the Tundra as well, and kind of another respect ban coming out. Moon Meander plays a very mean Tundra, as we've come to see time and time again, it would seem. So I'm not surprised to see that banned whatsoever. The next round of picks coming up for BxF here. They do have Torturer picked up already. It looks like they're considering an Electrician. So, of course, hell of a lot of AoE magic damage with these 3 first heroes.
Yeah, quite a bit indeed. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just keep that kind of that trend. Well, actually going to go for Forsaken Archer, but still could fit very nicely. A lot of AoE synergy already working there. And, you know, why not get a solid ranged hard carry? That is Forsaken Archer. So I definitely like that pick in the end here by BxF. Now it's just wondering, you know, who are they going to follow things up with as far as their support goes, or the only kind of role that they don't have here. And it's pretty necessary, of course, in these games. So we'll see how BxF finishes with that, or maybe they throw us a curveball. tdM, though, 2 more picks to go. We'll see shortly here.
Certainly true. And, you know, we have seen a support Torture from time to time. So that's always a viable option should they choose something slightly more aggressive. For example, if they pick a Behemoth here, of course, does play something reminiscent of a support role, but Torturer may play that kind of babysitter style a little bit if the laning situation provides an appropriate opportunity.
Very true, very true.
So Glacius Aluna complementing that Silhouette, as you mentioned, and we'll see what they do with these last few picks. And it looks like they could be considering a Pharaoh, someone we haven't been seeing quite as much recently.
Yeah, going with that Pharaoh pick there, and then Hammerstorm on top of that. So going to be going those 2 to finish things off. Obviously, the Hammerstorm pick up, kind of a hero that we have seen more and more as well on the competitive scene. But yeah, seeing that Pharaoh pick up, and it's sure enough swapped. Okay, no, Moon Meander eventually will get Silhouette, and Trophimidor actually going to be the one to play that Pharaoh. So looking forward to seeing how that works out for them. Now, as far as their lanes go, very likely going to see Beakid play more of a farm-heavy carry style, even Hammerstorm, which is always exciting to see.
Yeah.
As I would expect, maybe lining him up with an Aluna, then you got your Silhouette Glacius lane, and then the Pharaoh solo. So, yeah, very powerful lanes coming out here from Trademark Esports, and even a lot of early aggression as well. So, well-run the team here.
Definitely, but look at this board, Breaky. Look how many valuable junglers are still available. We have Parasite, Ophelia, Tempest, and Keeper. None of them picked. No junglers in this game. Z-Freak going to be playing Aluna. Of course, Z-Freak, pretty highly regarded as one of the best junglers kind of in the world right now. So a little bit surprised to see that many valuable junglers left on the board when the picking phase is complete.
That is very true. Yeah, we rarely go through a picking stage where none of them either banned or even picked. So very interesting there with both these teams going at it. But yeah, maybe a case of, you know, maybe jungle not as prioritized by different teams. So here we are, though, in the game. Of course, Black Fade taking on Trademark Esports. Very important game. Both these teams are still undefeated, 2-0 BxF. You're 1-0 Trademark Esports. So a lot of momentum is on the line here at the DreamHack event for DreamHON. So really excited the fact that we talked about this earlier with the BxF Fnatic matchup, where it's, if you had to kind of label a couple matches really throughout this tournament, it's really just must-see matches. I think it just has to be another one of those, BxF versus tdM.
Yeah, definitely, and especially given that start that BxF has picked up, and combining the team names now. And, oh, man. Anyhow, you're exactly right. This is one of these matches that I don't know who's going to win. This is one of those I could see either side taking this game. Just looking at their rosters, knowing their histories, I could see either team taking this game fairly easily. So we'll see. This is definitely a big deciding match. As we were talking about in that sort of pregame, if BxF does win this, that'll put them 3-0 in the group phase, which is a great place to be in.
Yeah, huge start for them, and that does put them on track to maybe even finishing on top throughout the group stages. And again, obviously you want to get top 4 to advance on. But even if you are up there already, the seeding will play a very important role. It's only 4 teams, but you get first place. Obviously, you play the 4th place team in that first round, and then 2nd versus 3rd. So you really want to get that first place, not just qualify for the top 4. So definitely a lot is on the line there. Obviously, we are seeing a pause here. It looks like BxF going through some restarting, and then hopefully it will be good to go in the very near future. But you do get an idea of how things are currently starting here with these 2 teams, and you look at Trademark. They got a 4-man gang squad here at the top lane. We'll see if they maybe can catch somebody out. It would probably be Bubbles, again being played by Les QQ here. But something tells me he may not play a little bit too aggressive. So,
yeah, sort of unfortunate for tdM's pain train here that Bubbles is probably going to be the only target that they can go for. He did level up that shell surf level 1, so I think they do have enough stun up here that they may be able to lock him down if they can get that initiation. With all 4 of these heroes, depending on what Aluna picks up here, may opt for that power throw level 1.
Yeah,
and we'll see.
Yeah, you know, I think it's definitely a case of, you know, Bubbles is going to the suicide lane up top there. You know, why would he even bother going into the jungle? So we'll see. You know, if something happens from it, but very likely not going to happen. Yeah, nice strategies right there, kind of trying to fool the other team. You see BxF and Senia going, we're gonna do. Of course, he means Congor right there. At level 1, but little do they know that's not what they're actually doing.
So sneaky.
I love these mistypes that are coming out right here. Oh, the smack talking. Yeah. You gotta love it. I was saying Sandy was very confident in the interview that we did with him pregame.
Yeah.
In the opening ceremonies, you know, basically turning around to the teams and saying, "No, we're not worried. We're pretty confident that we're gonna do well in this event." So.
Yeah. Confidence is a very powerful thing, Breaky, not to be underestimated.
Yeah.
Actually, the first game today when we're seeing a Behemoth, which I'm sort of excited about as well. Definitely a hero that we used to see so much. And, you know, now it almost feels like kind of a rarity to see Behemoth mixed in to games of this level. So looking forward to this and many more Behemoth matches to come.
Yeah, Behemoth is definitely fun here. I love seeing that fissure stun, you know, used correctly, as I'm sure Keizu, or Insania, excuse me, will look to be doing here and will successfully do throughout this game. It's great, can be great for blocking, great for escaping, just great in so many cases, great for sniping people even, or stopping them from getting away at the last second. So going down here at the bottom lane with Behemoth, and that is a deadly combination. So Pharaoh will need to kind of be on his toes and ready for any kill chances that they may go for, especially with a well-placed fissure to kind of block him off a little bit. But for the most part, you know, maybe it should be fine, but really don't expect any farm to come on Pharaoh. But again, a suicide lane Pharaoh, that usually tends to be the case, so no surprise there. But hopefully he can get some levels maybe, at least for his sake, but that probably isn't going to happen too well either. So bottom lane should be easy dominance here for Forsaken Archer. So it seems like we may see a case again of a Forsaken Archer just getting free farm here early on.
Yeah, definitely right. There's some other interesting things going on here in the laning phase as well. I would have thought we'd see a Glacius Silhouette combo and then the Aluna Hammerstorm combo, but tdM did something a little different here, and we see Hammerstorm Glacius at the top against the solo Bubbles, and in the mid it's going to be Aluna Silhouette facing off against the Torturer Pebble. So this mid lane, I mean, talk about killing potential early on. Both sets of heroes here are ridiculous.
Yeah, obviously, as you mentioned, you know, talking about in the pregame, Torture is a hero that we can see in that support role. And sure enough, we see here Stalagmite stuff follow up. Nice fissure block right there. That's what we're talking about. And Moonman in a lot of trouble. However, going to go through the trees, and it looks like he should be fine. Pebbles is still in hot pursuit, but I don't think it's going to be accomplished. So a great getaway there from Silhouette. But again, giving you an idea of how powerful that fissure stun can be. Just not the right placement, though. So she survives, but early curl attempt coming out here from BxF.
Yeah, definitely right. It was a really noble effort, but Moon Meander with, well, some good on-the-fly thinking, making it out alive. At the top lane here, one other thing to note is that Hammerstorm is picking up a good bit of farm, actually leading the way by a huge margin right now. And Glacius has actually left the lane, so this could be one of these rare times when we could potentially see a carry Hammerstorm.
Yeah, you know, I was definitely excited from that when I saw, you know, BK going to be playing him with the lane setups and everything. Meantime, Behemoth actually a lot of pressure, couldn't use that finish stun defensively, but we'll need it now. Going to be the blow. Let's go. Coming out for Trademark Esports, and Z-Freak on that Aluna, getting that kill. Now Pebbles maybe following us here with that freeze from Glacius, and Keizu will go down the dumpster ton on top of that from Moon Meander, of course, coming out. So 2-0 hero kill advantage off to the start here for Trademark Esports.
Yeah, very well done. Aluna moving in with that Glacius as well, kind of sandwiching them, and they set that kill up both those kills up very nicely. Now Moon Meander, 1-0-1 on that Silhouette. Always scary to see him picking up early kills with a hero like Silhouette.
Yeah, you did not want to let it get out of hand. We've already seen so many cases of that being the case. So, but you know, the good news is this creep farm not the greatest so far early on. Of course, only 2.5 minutes in, so I guess I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but. The hero kills and assists is definitely what has his GPM pretty high up there. But, yeah, going back to the Hammerstorm, though, really excited to see that, too. I mean, especially if he gets that early portal kick, he can go a Shrunken Head after that. Yeah. He can actually be very, very powerful. And the great thing about that hero is that he doesn't need damage items to do a lot of damage. Obviously, you press R, you have that ultimate activated, being the brute strength, so appropriately named there. and he just becomes a massive damage dealer with that right-click auto attack. So we'll see if B-Kid eventually gets to that stage, and as you mentioned, you know, with the farm start that he has here, wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, certainly not. I think we saw TT Esports do that a couple weeks ago. We saw Slitch play carry Hammerstorm. So we've definitely seen it recently, and it is semi-viable at least. So, you know, totally not trolling here with that carry Hammerstorm. I mean, he usually does play that roaming support role, so it is a little bit out of character, but still viable. Yeah. One of the other interesting number statistics to point out early on is in this bottom lane, Pharaoh's actually out-farming Forsaken Archer. Well, he was when it was a 1v1 scenario. See, Behemoth has actually roamed down here to try and help SmackDown a little bit. But what do you make of that? I mean, I would have thought Forsaken Archer would be practically free-farming at this point, and we see Pharaoh actually ahead in creep kills. Yeah,
I am a little bit baffled by that as well. I will say Behemoth, obviously he was in the middle, or the middle lane there for a bit, so it really was kind of a true 1 versus 1 for a good bit there. And Trademark, you know, that's where he took advantage. He knew that, but with Behemoth missing, Forsaken Archer not necessarily going to kill him, so might as well go up there, get some last hits. You know, fairly with that Iron Buckler, especially here at the beginning of the game, can be very difficult to kind of harass out of the lane. So it's definitely what helps make him a great suicide lane hero. So, yeah, that's just better play really from Trademark. You can even argue coming out here for Trademark Esports, and that is good news for them. SmackDonald's, his farm is struggling. I mean, he definitely isn't as good as we would definitely expect. So, going over that again. So yeah, that's great news there for tdM. As far as the overall gold per minute, again, Hammerstorm continues to lead the way by quite a bit, and yeah, with Forsaken Archer, she's the top on our team, so really struggling all around here for BxF.
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of the next point I was going to move into. It's, you know, only 4 minutes in, so the GPM chart isn't too meaningful. It can change very, very quickly and quite drastically for that matter, but still seeing Forsaken Archer leading the way with 194 GPM for the Legion side, definitely not off to a good start. We'll see if Behemoth moving down here to the bottom will make this lane a little bit easier, at least keep Pharaoh out of the lane so that Forsaken Archer can pick up some much-needed farm at this point.
Yeah, we do got Bubbles reconnecting right now, so Les QQ should be back into the game any second, but we have a disconnect on Keizu, so not going to be going just yet here. The anticipation will keep us waiting between Black Fate and Trademark Esports again, as so much is on the line, not only for this match, tournament, of course, $60,000 prize pool, but this match here, 1-0 tdM, 2-0 BxF. Both teams trying to stay undefeated here. Last time I checked, there's no ties in Heroes and Newers, so we will have a team losing.
There are certainly no ties. It will come down to those singleton hit points on the throne, as we have seen a time or two in the past. A certain game comes to mind. But indeed, there is no draw. Unless someone goes over and trips over the power cords of all their computers.
Don't suggest
Could be the only draw suggestion. I don't know.
That could, you know, something, I guess, technically maybe possibility could be out there. That could make for that, but probably not. Very, very likely not going to be that. So
the point is the same, though. Throughout this, after this game, we will know which team is going to be in a prime position, still moving undefeated. So that really, as you put it, a big momentum swing on this on the line here.
Yeah. All right. Looks like our Hellborn team's ready with KZ reconnecting. So it's just a matter of BxF being able to unpause the game, and then we'll be resuming here between these two teams. So we do got, but yeah, seeing the Hammerstorm, as far as how much gold does he have to say? 1,100 gold. So he doesn't even have boots yet, against only really coming up to the 4-minute mark here. Wonder if he's maybe going to go for the early Steam boots, maybe even Ghost March, just depending on what he feels necessary. And then the possible portal key pickup, or as we saw last game with Magnus, you know, may just go straight for that portal key as soon as possible. Not even boots. I would find that very hard to believe, though. That would just be silly, really. But
yeah, on a Hammerstorm, that would be interesting. Magnus, you can sort of make a case for it in some situations, perhaps. Hammerstorm, I don't know. He portal keys in and then falls over. You know, he needs some of those core items, especially that shrunken head. I think is a core piece for him.
Yeah, with him, obviously, he doesn't have those getaway tools like a Magnus would have. Yeah, you see in the middle lane. That was unfortunate. Health Potion got canceled immediately, and so Torture goes ahead and shares his own onto Pebbles. Wow. So Pebbles will be fine alive, but talk about perfect timing coming out for Trademark right there.
Hell of a cost-effective Tormented Soul right there. Yeah. That was incredibly well timed. Probably a little bit of luck there, more so than anything else, but still very well done.
Well, yeah, I'm sure he's just nonetheless doing it to obviously harass with his team, but sure it did work out very, very well. So
yeah.
Unfortunate, that extra region used right there, and again in the laning phase where it is so even. For the most part, it usually is like that in all games, let's be honest, but that can play to be a big deal. So as the game continues, though, this middle lane, again, Moon Meander on Silhouette. He would start off with that 1-0-1, and our creep score is definitely picking up quite a bit. 15-6 currently, and you can only expect that to get even better, especially against this Pebbles, who still remains at a 10-2 score. So Moon Meander again on Silhouette, off to a solid start here for our Trademark Esports team.
Yeah, definitely right. And, you know, speaking of carry farms, down in this bottom lane, Forsaken Archer actually looking a little bit better. It seemed Behemoth's presence down here has forced Pharaoh back a little bit, as we see Forsaken Archer is now around 250 GPM, so sort of par for the course at least, keeping up with Silhouette. That is definitely good news for BxF.
Oh, what? Damn, that was a long trigger apple right there from Silhouette. I was watching the middle lane, but starting some initiation right there, but falling all the way back. So yeah, B-Kid up here, 1,800 gold saved up. I mean, is he really going? I want to think maybe it's a case of him just not wanting to. I mean, he's so focused on farming right now that he's just like not buying items. He doesn't want to waste those keystrokes, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, I find it very hard to believe. Oh, Alchemist Bones. Wow, did not see that coming.
Yeah, that is definitely a bit of a surprise. See down in the bottom, actually, Pharaoh almost getting taken out thanks to that Behemoth Fissure, but was able to survive and head back to the well here. But yeah, the Alchemist Bones, I completely agree with you. I would not have guessed that one of the last items I would have guessed. So I think that it's kind of safe to say at this point, Hammerstorm will be going some sort of carry role. And
yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, that's definitely.
What about a tablet of command with this and a Gnome's Wisdom maybe, you know. Look to support my team. No, yeah, obviously. But yeah, it was one of those cases too where he picked it up and it's like, wow, how didn't we think of that? Actually, that actually makes a lot of sense, especially for what he was doing there, saving up all that gold. And he got a 6-minute Alky Bones. I mean, that's a pretty damn effective Alchemist Bones right there. And his gold per minute is going to start shooting up now even higher, with it already being 356 GPM. So finally he picks up his little red booties. But you know, the fact that it took him this long, that was a good thing, a good problem to have, I guess you could say. Yeah. For his sake. So yeah, this is, and again, a great thing about Alchemist Bones too is the attack speed increase. Obviously, you mainly get it, or you're the only get it, let's be honest, for the gold that it gives. But the attack speed can be very beneficial too to a hero like Hammerstorm. As I said, you activate that ultimate, you're dishing out all that more damage, and you're attacking faster. So. Yeah.
Oh no, you're certainly right. It's one of those items that you pick it up for one reason, but it does have some other bonuses as well. And with any economic investment like that or a Rune Cleaver, the timing is key. The earlier you can get it, the more of a return you're going to see. So as you mentioned, to see him get Alchemist Bones at 6 minutes is great. And that probably helped influence that decision a little bit. I'm sure he didn't go into this game planning on picking up Alchemist Bones. Just seeing that he was able to get them so quickly, kind of decision-making on the fly.
Yeah, exactly. You can never go into a Heroes of Newerth game planning out exactly what you're going to do. And you know, that's a great point to bring up that. I guarantee, you know, he could have no mindset of, I'm going to rush Alchemist Bones in this game. No doubt, no matter what. Obviously, just because of the circumstances, because of the setup and everything, well, it just worked out that way. So, good for him, and, you know, we'll see if he upgrades those boots next, perhaps, as a result of this, and goes from there. But I will say, ever since that middle action, we're now 8 minutes in, and not too much going on in terms of action. We may, however, be having something come up towards our chain reactions, hitting Glaciers right there. In comes up Behemoth, Fissure Stun, and Umzai right there on Torture, actually getting credit for the kill. So right as I start talking about lack of kills, we sure enough see what happened, and maybe two going to be happening right here. Tree Grapple Stun, and there's that kill onto Behemoth. In the meantime, Z-Freak there once again on Aluna, actually sniping for the kill right there. So ends up being a 1-for-1 when it's all said and done.
Yeah, certainly right. It's sort of unfortunate that Pharaoh didn't have his ultimate up when that started. There could have been a chance to maybe save Glacius, at least buy him a little more time. We see Pebbles in the mid lane taking a lot of pressure. He's going to throw beautiful Stalagmites, but it's not going to be enough. Moon Meander going to be able to finish him off with that one last auto attack. So Moon Meander now sitting 2-0-2 and in pretty good shape. Anyhow, yeah, it's sort of unfortunate that Pharaoh had that ultimate down. He had it sort of attempted on Forsaken Archer before that, but missed the ultimate, and then, yeah, well, the rest is history.
Yeah, and that play by our Silhouette Illuminating here in the middle, able to take out Pebbles, who, you know, again, his Q farm, it hasn't been the greatest on top of that. So KZU right now only 150 gold per minute after a second of the game. Meanwhile, at the top lane, Hammerstorm in a lot of trouble. He's going to be able to get away. Oh, the Galvanize not going to be enough, though. There's that Pharaoh hook coming in. Will hit Bubbles, and may at least get a return kill. In fact, there we go. Traveler gets credit for the kill, and actually a freeze on a Torturer may result in a kill. I don't know, actually. Torture, nope, not going to be able to get away. Decided to go back in, maybe turn a return kill on a Glacius, but wasn't going to happen. So it ends up being a double tap for Tralfamador at least. But they were able to take out Hammerstorm at the last second. But it seemed like he almost stutter stepped, and if he didn't, may have actually been able to get away, but that was damn close right there.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to turn and get that hammer throw off to set up those kills and hopefully be able to stay alive and just turn it around. But yeah, like you said, it looks like he got taken out sort of mid-cast, so it's kind of unfortunate. That silence from Bubbles as well delayed the cast time long enough that, well, he got taken out in the end. So a 2-for-1 exchange, as you mentioned, puts Trademark Esports in a very good position here. See Behemoth in a little bit of trouble. It's going to throw that fissure stun. Silhouette not going to go for the kill, and we will see Behemoth survive to tell the tale. Z-Freak going to go ahead and score a tower deny here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and you know, you pull back up that goal per minute chart again. You see Hammer Storm, it's been dropping a little bit. Obviously the death is, you know, go figure, but the fact that Forsaken Archer has actually surpassed him there, despite that deny, very good news here for our Legion team. So that's great for BxF. MacDonald doing work there at the bottom lane, as it seems like he's pretty much been ignored for the most part here from Trademark Esports. Of course, what's matched up against dropping around Pharaoh, and Pharaoh definitely did a great job himself, especially for the circumstances. But they haven't been investing a whole lot of resources in this game in terms of stopping him. So that could be the one downfall for tdM when it comes to this early game phase, but still think overall tdM should be pretty confident. I mean, you look at the GPM chart again, and you see it's a much, much better spread in their favor. However, Hammer Storm, the Galvanize, is going to be enough to get away. Looks like he was trying to get fissure blocked, or Behemoth was trying to at least, but not successful. So he'll be fine. But the pressure being applied here from Black Fade. As middle lane, Pebbles are still arguments on the Silhouette, trying to stay alive right now. The Shockwave says, get off me, bitch. Not going to be enough, though. Moon Meander will get credit for the kill, as a 3 versus 1 right there comes through for tdM.
Yeah, exactly right. Pebbles is now struggling so much in this mid lane. Kezu with only 170 GPM, and on Pebbles, you just read this off is definitely bad news for BxF in that regard. As we've noted, he's just one of those heroes that if he doesn't get that early start, it's so much more difficult for him to be effective in that mid and especially in that late game.
Oh, top lane, Hammerstorm's on a Bubbles right there. Fissure stun not on the right side though, or maybe it was. This may help set up a kill on a Hammerstorm as Bubbles trying to get away with the kill for holding them in place. The Hammerstorm will be stunned. Pharaoh comes in, but we do see the kill on a Bubbles happening, and now Trafalgar wants more blood on Behemoth, it looks like. In the meantime, over here, we got Torture being locked down, and Torture will fall. So Trademark Esports right now in a very good position with a 2-for-1 exchange, it looks like currently, and Behemoth may make this a 3-for-1. In comes Mumiano and Silhouette once again. Not going to matter though. Trafalgar will get the final hit. So 10-3 hero kill advantage.
Wow.
When it is all said and done right now in favor of Trademark Esports here.
Yeah, 10-3, 12 minutes in. 4,000 gold, 2.4K experience. They're yet to take a tower, and they have that huge gold lead. They're just really doing a great job of the lineup that they have. I mean, in the picking phase, we looked at this lineup, and we were like, wow, they have some pretty solid lanes.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I can't say I'm too surprised. Our Legion team has a really good lineup, but for that laning phase, kind of hard to combat with tdM's lineup here.
It is. And, you know, when you got Forsaken Archer at 300 gold per minute, usually you would say to yourself, well, like you said, a Legion team is, you know, at least they got that going. I mean, that's actually a pretty good spot. But the rest of the team just isn't there right now for Black Fade when it comes to being successful in this game. And that could prove to be the downfall for our Black Fade side, as tdM, again, all across the board, really, for the most part, just looks very, very solid. We did see Steam Boots just finish right there on a Hammer Storm, so now he can perhaps start working towards his portal key, but even more importantly, perhaps, Silhouette now 290 gold per minute, and it seems like that is just going to only go up and up from here, you know, depending on some situations, but she's got her life tube on her way to a sustaining perhaps, and then the eventual Null Stone, which we see quite frequently. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane, there's Forsaken Archer, and Forsaken Archer is no more in the end, so just as we're finished talking about it, seems like tdM almost does tuning in right there, so they end up getting the kill on a Forsaken Archer.
Yeah, exactly right. Taking heed to our advice. But yeah, it looked like a nice Wrath of the Pharaoh to start things off. And really not much that Forsaken Archer can do. See in the mid lane, Aluna going toe-to-toe with Pebbles here. And underfarmed Kezu just can't do much. Still trying to get there in time to set up the kill, but Pebbles just a little bit too fast. But the lead continues here for tdM now 11-3.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of pushing going on from both teams. Seems like the top lane going to start taking some pressure, but a port coming in actually as the middle lane from our Hellborn side is also going to be dropping right here. Fidget's not going to be used, maybe delayed a little bit, maybe buy some time for denying. And it looks like it's going to be just completely delaying. So the Hellborn team decides it's best to retreat. I definitely like that decision. I mean, they also, and Hammerstorm also like what he's doing here. He knows that a lot of homecoming stones were just used here in the middle lane. Very good chance that he could freely push this bottom side as a result. And that's what he's going to do. So I like that play in the end by tdM. They didn't push it into deny range, and Hammerstorm is actually getting some very valuable farm time at this bottom lane, as he has now jumped back up to about 330 gold per minute himself.
Yeah, what's interesting about this build that BKid's going for here is he's going, right now he's 4-3-1, so he's putting more points into Mighty Swing over Galvanize, which is almost unheard of. I mean, we've seen players go stats over Mighty Swing. So pretty interesting that BKid's opting for that pushing power.
Massive farm and pushing power, yeah. I mean, he goes the Alchemist spawns first, gets that Mighty Swing early on, and as you said, I mean, we're going to see that maxed out at level 12, I'm sure, when it comes down to it. So yeah, really making a point that he's about the farming early on, and that he's all about getting that true Hammerstorm carry build that, you know, we hear so much about, but we never really see too much, if at all. So I did see him purchase a Mighty Blade right there, and again, I would lead to believe that it is going to be Shrunken Head. Of course, could be that Ice Brand pickup, depending on how he feels, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, excited to see that here from our Hammerstorm player being played by BKid. But speaking of portal keys, I was just talking about Hammerstorm there, you know, you got Pebbles, of course. And, you know, when can we expect Mr. Kizu on Pebbles to get a portal key? Well, not really in the near future, perhaps. He only has about 570 gold saved up. Ain't farming too well either at just over 200 gold per minute. So it hasn't been the greatest game for him this time around.
No, certainly not. I mean, he does have those core items. He's got the power, or steam boots, pardon me, as well as the bottle. But like you said, he's a pretty far ways off. I mean, a 20-minute portal key may be in the books for Pebbles here, but that's still much further behind than he would like to have it. I mean, we're generally looking at 12, 13, 14-minute portal keys on a Pebbles that's really going to get aggressive. So it's definitely rough for Kizu here. Perhaps he can bring it back, but the way tdM's playing here, that's going to be rough. Like you said, we're talking about Forsaken Archer farming. What did they do? Go down and shut her down. So tdM's been just so active this game, I find it hard to believe they're going to let this Pebbles free farm a portal key.
And speaking of that, Roman, I mean, once again, Pharaoh and Glacius heading towards this bottom lane. Now they did just destroy Wardaside, so I would hope, obviously, that Forsaken Archer very aware that they are nearby and should be fun when it's all said and done. In fact, she's going to really play passive here. So really just their presence alone is really scaring Forsaken Archer enough to kind of minimize her farm. So again, just very smart play here coming up from Trademark Esports. Yeah, well, Silhouette just pushes the top lane now at 300 GPM himself. So basically even now with that Forsaken Archer and looking to maybe get a tower kill as well as at that top side. So we've only had two tower kills so far, and they actually were in favor of Black Fade. So that, again, helps to be good news for them. But when you're down by 4,500 gold and you have 2 tower kills up, you know, something's not right for your team. So that's pretty unfortunate news for them there.
Yeah, this mid-tier 1 tower for our Legion side is in deny range, so luckily for them, the creeps actually pushed it in. Saw Luna trying to do some auto attacks, but wasn't going to be able to take it down fast enough, so the first tower kill for tdM is actually denied, which is certainly a good thing for BxF, though all things considered, still not really good news.
Yeah, apparently Z-Freak's asking about, did you get that? I'm guessing about a lag spike or something, but I don't know if BxF did. Let's see right there in the answer, so hopefully nothing too serious, and a quick unpause, and we can be on our merry way. But yeah, Hammerstorm. Well, I mean, speaking of Mighty Blade, so we see the Ice Brand. Yeah, the Ice Brand pick up on Forsaken Archer, so more of that Frostburn item that seems to be so popular lately here for a lot of players here in the competitive scene. But yeah, Hammerstorm, again, that Shrunken Head in the works here, and I wonder if maybe that's a... I was going to say maybe a key for tdM to just really start playing aggressive this game. I mean, they have been for quite a bit of it. They are up 11-3 in hero kills. And they do got a Silhouette, who, again, she's actually beating Forsaken Archer and Farm. Hasn't been having the greatest game herself in terms of just overall. But, I mean, he is 3-0-4, and the Creep Farm has definitely been there, too. So, Moon Meander, successful nonetheless on his Silhouette hero. So
wow, and right there up in the top lane, we saw Pebbles kind of get engaged on, but look at this lane ward from Cinder. Right there was the key to that fight. We saw both Moon Meander, well, I guess all 3 of them, Moon Meander and BKid, though, backing up right away. They saw the reinforcements coming, so you know, to the untrained eye, perhaps this ward from Cinder may look a little bit odd. Why is it there? But that is the exact reason, and it did save the life of 2 of his teammates.
Yeah, it's Cinder, of course, definitely one of the better support players in the world, and it's definitely a big part of why that statement can be so true. So very good. That was very good for tdM, and the fact that now this kind of opens up a little bit of time to maybe make a push here on this bottom lane, because you do see in the middle lane our Legion side group it up in BxF and gonna push a tower themselves. So they're gonna go for the 3rd tower kill, whereas tdM still trying to take out their first, or the second, excuse me. Now the first one was denied, but may get their first actual kill down there. We do see the middle tower though going down. And that bottom tower still not that close to dying just yet, so maybe we'll have to wait and see what decision they make right here about BxF. They know their decision and they are going to keep some pushing going here. So they're going to force Trademark Esports to make a big-time decision themselves. You do see that hasted Pebbles in the front lines right here. So looking pretty good, but Silhouette, she's pushing the top lane in the meantime. So a lot of pushing all of a sudden going on. And tdM, well, they come out on top 2 tower kills to 1 when it's all said and done. So you can definitely argue that that worked out better for Trademark Esports right there.
Yeah, and that little micro exchange, I think you could certainly make a case for that, although they did take a lot of damage on this tier 2 tower in the mid lane. And as we've noted many times in the past, taking out that tier 2 in the mid is so important early on. Again, limiting those access points. And in the mid lane in particular, it's a very powerful attempt, at least, to push that tower. So I can certainly understand why BxF put on that extra pressure. It's just a little bit of a shame they weren't able to finish off the tower when it was all said and done.
Yeah. It was for our BxF team, and especially when you look at the big picture on top of that. So tdM continues to be in the lead here, and again, Hammerstorm's farm, as you would expect with those Alchemist Bones, just keeps rising and rising up to 386 gold per minute. And he's heading towards his bottom lane. We do see the 4-second red star coming up from Luna. The Hammerstorm's on top of that. Glacial downpour even used, and down goes Forsaken Archer, but Glacius falls to the piercing arrows, actually. Oh. So it ended up working out fairly well for Forsaken Archer right there. However, Feral snipes in onto Behemoth, gets got him. What was Bubbles thing importing him? And Bubbles may very likely fall now, so maybe he was just trying to get away, but that proved to be a bad decision. Pebble, oh, he misses the combination right there. How did Keizu miss that? I have absolutely no clue. Torture comes in chain reaction, and that will be the end of it. But wow, they even had a free kill chance at the very end there. Somehow he managed to butcher the Pebbles combination.
Yeah, exactly right. It's one of those sort of facepalm moments like, oh, I really did just do that. Darn it. It's really unfortunate, like you said, but in a tournament like this, mistakes will happen. I think all these players can vouch for. There are times when, you know, you just don't quite execute properly. So very unfortunate, but on a positive note here, Moonmeander has now finished his Null Stone, so that's certainly good news for Silhouette. And, of course, going to be moving into those core items. I would guess a portal key next, given how aggressive they've been. Will give Silhouette that additional mobility. But time will tell.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. And, again, Moonmeander definitely very popular for picking up a very aggressive items like that. So, and I think that really is kind of more of his go-to build as well on the hero Silhouette. So, wouldn't be surprised to see that portal key. And, again, speaking of that, when is Hammerstorm's turn for a portal key? If he even chooses to go, I mean, maybe with the build that he's going, he got his Shrunken Head finish now. Maybe he's just going to go straight into Rift Shards or something like that. Just become a real big beast when it comes to doing damage. I'm just saying, B-Kid. I'm just saying. If you want to go something like that. So we'll see what his decision ends up being, though. But Firebrand is still trying to be finished here on Forsaken Archer so she can finish the combination of the Frostburn, of course. But, yeah, that portal key on Pebbles, obviously we saw the little bit of a whiff there at the bottom lane. Is he going to be able to start using that more effectively now as this game progresses? That's huge here for BxF. And, you know, one of those items and heroes where that can be a tide turner a little bit, despite them being down by quite a bit here. So we'll see if Keizu starts to step up his game a little bit or if continues to really struggle throughout it.
Yeah, I mean, per usual, timing is so important. Right now, I don't know that Pebbles can just combo down anyone for an instant kill except Glacius. We see Luna has her Steam Boots complete. She's got an Astrolabe, Mystic Vestments, as well as that Major Totem for some additional stats. So I don't know that Pebbles will be able to one-shot her with that combo.
I don't think so.
So unless he can find Glacius, I mean, he's still very powerful for that initiation tool and can still do a lot of damage, but that sort of window of opportunity where Pebbles can just annihilate people with that fast portal key is pretty much gone here.
Yeah, 4 to the 5 heroes, and the only one not being Glacius, where it doesn't have any, or they have Mystic Vestments. So yeah, that on top of the good amount of life that each one of them has, you're just going over is very good news for our helmet side. That it just really isn't giving Keizu really any opportunities or effective opportunities at the least to make some great choices for himself. So Hammerstorm, it looks like oh, never mind, you actually already had that. Thought something else came up, but never mind. Do want to say, you know, Frostburn, of course, finished though on Forsaken Archer. She goes back to the bottom lane now, going to continue some farm down here. So for obviously for SmackDown ult here for BxF, very important for the team. Just needs to try to continue to get as much farm as possible. An item that will help was Behemoth picking up that portal key. So that's good for them. Wasn't even really noticing that, but Insania gets the portal key right there. Yeah. So able to get in. Not too bad of a moment, 23 minutes in. No, we'll see if BxF makes something happen now.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid portal key for a hero like Behemoth, who, of course, playing that support role, doesn't farm so much, and kind of will sacrifice himself in the stead of a carry should that opportunity present itself. So pretty cool to see that portal key picked up nice and early. See in the mid lane, though, Pharaoh actually going to get engaged on here. You got to turn it around. There's the Wrath of Pharaoh on to Keizu. I don't don't know if Kezu's going to be able to survive to tell the tale. Indeed not, as he falls. Troutmador now on a legendary streak as Kezu goes down for the 4th time in this match.
Yeah, that was, again, just not the greatest initiation right there, but also just a better play by Troutmador. Did a great job of fighting them off, got those mummy walls up, which would have screwed them up. And then, of course, the team support coming in for Trademark Esports right there to completely turn that around. Seems like we have a lot of these pause and then right after, let's go.
Yeah,
obviously some minor issues, but you know, even for the minor issues, with so much on the line, $60,000 prize pool here at the SLAN event, you want to make sure that everything is in working order. So yeah, can't blame them too much, but
definitely right. Other item pickups as well. Moon Meander now picking up the portal key. So yeah, we're going to see some silhouette aggression coming pretty quickly here, as we were talking about. Not surprised to see that whatsoever.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised, you know, to see him still farm some more with that say, you know, just kind of be more sit back, but it does give him now that great option if he chooses to do so, or if he finds that opportunity for whatever reason while he's farming, or I mean, that's a great escape mechanism too, on top of his ultimate, of course. If it comes down to it, he can use it in the correct timing. Meanwhile, Congor, though, being attempted here. There is a ward aside place from BxF. Now, they did kind of sneak around, so makes me wonder if our Legion team is fully aware that's going on. I think Hammerstorm may have exposed himself, though, and that could be the key for Black Fade, that Congor is actually being attempted. You see them kind of huddled up around the area, and it looks like tdM isn't too interested in necessarily fully committing to it. Maybe even trying to bait out BxF a little bit, but Black Fade not going to fall for that. But tdM may be getting a Congor kill here if Black Fade doesn't react to this quickly, but no. I think actually tdM is really just trying to bait them into this and catch them off guard, but that may be coming up here.
That's kind of what it looks like. Silhouette's in the back trying to get ready for that portal key should the engage commence. So I think you're exactly right. This looks more like bait from tdM more so than truly an attempt at trying to finish off Congor here. We see B-Kid now about 2,500 gold in the bank, and what's he going to do? Answering my question for me, he's going to go ahead and pick up that portal key. So portal keys all around in this game. Now Silhouette and Hammerstorm upping their mobility.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very, very nice here for Trademark Esports. So amplifying that aggressive nature that this team could now bring to the table. You got that on top of the hook, of course, from Pharaoh. So a lot of long-range initiation coming out here from our Trademark Esports team. And again, another Congor attempt. This time it looks like they may be committing to it somewhat. We see the Tormented Soul coming out from Pharaoh, so maybe not just yet. Aluna wasn't necessarily in the pit with them. She was staying back. So Black Fade, again, very aware that these Congor attempts are kind of happening, but just cannot find the opportunity to actually prevent them from doing it, let alone killing them while they're doing it. So I do like the patience, though, from Black Fade. They're not necessarily rushing again. You could tell tdM trying to bait them into their trap, but Black Fade not having any of that. Until Congor actually dies, you know, it doesn't really do anything for you, of course. You can do as much damage as you want to if possible. So we do see once again Silhouette going back in, so maybe going to try to sneak in there. He did go by the ward aside, or no, it wasn't seen by the ward aside, I should say, so maybe, ooh, he just portal keyed behind Congor. I don't even know if that was on purpose, actually. And this could be a problem for Silhouette right here. Here we go, the initiative. Oh, the tree grab on the last second. But in comes Pebbles up, Behemoth follow up. There's the piercing arrows on top of the crippling volume. But Silhouette is somehow still alive. And then turnaround potential starting. No, Silhouette will fall right there. And the Legion team just cleans up Trademark Esports. Shuriken activated though by Hammerstorm. However, we see as a teammate dying, Aluna. It is right now a 3 versus 1. Make that a 3 versus nobody. Genocide coming out for Black Fade. Now they can steal Congor or push, but wow, what just happened?
That was just a disaster for tdM. You mentioned that portal key from Silhouette. I think that was a mistake. He wanted to portal key up the hill to escape. He saw that coming, and Moon Meander just couldn't quite get out in time. That's one of those, I saw it coming, I saw the train coming, but I just couldn't get out of the way in time, and tdM just crumbled after Moon Meander got taken down. Beautiful reaction time from Insania, though, getting in there to drop that Behemoth ultimate, doing a hell of a lot of damage, and they may actually have to pay almost the ultimate price here. If they lose a mid lane of Rax, this could be very bad for tdM, despite them still being ahead Golden Experience.
Yeah, I love this decision. I mean, like I was saying, they could just as easily go to finish off Congor. Oh, we see Pebbles actually may fall. That glacial downpour gets the kill. In comes the Wrath of the Pharaoh. Forsaken Archer actually maybe going down as well. So an unfortunate end for Black Fade, but still, the melee Rax was destroyed. So really, Black Fade, I'm sure, still feeling very confident about the kill. But now, this is a problem because this could set up a Congor kill for tdM now with both those heroes dead here. So.
Yeah, it's a great thing to point out.
Pebbles.
And I'm sure they're considering that as well. Congor is still dangerously low. He's sitting at just about
They both bought
3,700
back.
HP. And there it is. So both of them buying back here. We could see an ultimate clash of the Titans here around the Congor pit. Of course, BxF not trying to hand over that token.
Yeah, you could tell as soon as they did, tdM's like, all right, never mind, we're not going to do this anymore. As, and that's a 1-5 for them. I mean, they got a lot of money to be used right there, and even more importantly, with how even this game is perhaps turning out to be, one of the 2 tokens being used. That serves a buyback token. So, but that's the point I was going to make, though, going in before that all started with Black Fade. They could have just as easily turned around and just stung Congor right there and then been happy and satisfied with that. But no, they said, you know what, we're confident that we can take out the mid-racks. And, well, they were right with the melee one, of course. So.
Yeah, you're exactly right. One of these classic situations of risk versus return. And, of course, the higher the risk, generally the higher the reward. And in that case, maybe Congor would have been a safe choice, but they committed to the rack. So we are going to see our Legion side, though, go for Congor now. He's dangerously low. Is tdM going to have the reaction / the appropriate engaging power here? We are going to see Hammerstorm go in. He's going to activate that Shrunken Head, looking for someone to stun, and it is going to go on to Bubbles. And Bubbles is going to go down after that take covers off, it looks like. Down he goes. Trappador going to finish off LesQQ. SmackDonald going to come in. He's going to finish off Sender, and B-Kid going to be able to take out Insania here. It's sort of a back-and-forth exchange as Silhouette's getting super aggressive. Forsaken Archer going to be in big trouble. Looks like SmackDonald is destined to fall. Torture going to be the only one left alive. Umzai says, screw this, I'm porting home. He's going to be the lone survivor, and it looks like Congor is going to go in the hands of tdM.
Finally, wow, how impactful has Congor been this game? We just saw in the last 3 minutes or so, both teams have a very big fight at the Congor pit, but when it's all said and done, Trademark Esports will be victorious in that fight at least, and a token of life will be picked up by Silhouette. So BxF, I know they obviously got a little bit comfortable right there trying that Congor attempt, and it's just a better response from Trademark Esports coming out, caught them on their toes a little bit. So very well played, very good timing really, and definitely you can say even making up for perhaps a little bit of mistake they made early on, specifically Silhouette with that portal key scaffold. But
yeah. No, you're certainly right. Now, this is one of these games, though, where the numbers are a little bit deceiving. We see tdM is still ahead by a pretty big margin, and I think it's fair to say tdM's winning this game. But the numbers are confusing because they have that mid lane of melee racks down, so they're constantly going to have to be paying attention to this mid lane and making sure it doesn't get the best of them. If the creeps push in while they're fighting elsewhere on the map and they lose that ranged barracks, it's going to be even worse. So just something else that tdM has to deal with now.
Ooh, an invisible Pebbles coming here in the middle lane, maybe trying to jump at this Aluna, who, as we talked about earlier, and it may not necessarily be a free kill with the items that she has, and so not going to jump her. Instead, she will actually run away before too much pressure happens. So they do have a ward of sight back here, maybe trying to see if they can scout him. But Aluna clearly just sitting way far back, so very good heads up here by Sender coming out, or Z-Freak, excuse me, knowing that some pressure was possibly coming up. Now Pebbles heading towards the top lane instead, so Pharaoh's the one that's in trouble. You do see him starting to head back. There goes the Tormented Soul. And that's probably going to scout somebody. Yeah, definitely scouts Forsaken Archer, maybe even Torturer. So he knows big time that he needs to get back and will be successful. So once again, Pebbles trying to find somebody with this invisible rune, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And, you know, going on that again, not to harp on it by any means, but we've given Kizu plenty of compliments. But in this game, he's 0-6-3 on a Pebbles, you know. Yeah. Not what you're looking for 31.5 minutes in.
No, you're right. I mean, like we said, we all have those games. Sometimes, you know, you dominate, and sometimes, well, the other team dominates you a little bit. So it's just one of those games, by all means. Kizu is a fantastic player. He just didn't get the start he needed. Sort of an inverse snowball, if you will, where it just sort of keeps getting worse. But also, just great awareness from tdM. They don't really have much ward vision here in the top, but still, as you mentioned, Tralfmador reading that someone's invisible, that they're roaming around, they back up, and don't hand over those free kills. So great awareness from tdM as a team.
Yeah, look at what's going on right here. A little bit of top tower push presence, but in the meantime, Moonmeander on Silhouette going to pressure this bottom lane and force Black Fade to make an ultimate decision here. So we'll see what they end up choosing. He's still pushed in. Obviously, he's sending the illusion away just in case. And we have initiation. In comes the port as well with the Hammerstorm and the Pharaoh. We do see deaths happening. Torture will fall. Pebbles will go down. And so will Behemoth. So worked out very well right there for Trademark Esports. A great kill field. Will it matter? No one on the glacial downpour helps snap the kill right there. And we do see Bubbles porting away, but a possible genocide coming out. Tormented Soul not going to hit. But Bubbles, LesQQ is still in so much trouble right here. Will be able to tablet himself. Shell serve in 4 seconds. Going to go for the port. Oh, what a port from Silhouette. Oh, yes, there's the kill happening from Moonmeander. And that's the genocide for Trademark Esports. Is that our like third genocide of the game? I mean, that's ridiculous here.
Yeah.
Only 33 minutes in.
I mean, we have 38 kills in 33 minutes. That's an action-packed game. That is definitely the kind of stuff we like to see. But beautiful initiation from tdM right there. And that's kind of the power of a farmed Hammerstorm. He portal keys in, pops that shrunken head, and there's not much you can do about it, especially with that level 4 Mighty Swing and Ultimate. 60% splash damage in that tight radius. That really hurts.
Yeah. You know, definitely talked about this before. It's funny now that we're seeing it, I'm not really bringing it up, but kind of, you know, Mighty Swing is, oh, wow. It is just too quick. Working out at the gym lately, I guess. Yeah, just a little bit too fast for Kezio right there. Somehow able to portal key away right before he got jumped. So, very quick reaction. But speaking of him again, as I was saying, Hammerstorm is with that second ability, with the Mighty Swing. I am surprised. You know, he's not here we see a whole lot picked up, but a few times we have seen him kind of played in more of this kind of farming carry role. They always pass up Mighty Swing. He's really the first one that I've seen that I can recall lately that actually not only went for it, but when maxed out with it. So,
yeah, me too.
And we are seeing the damage not only for farming, but in those fights. If he gets a good cluster going, if he's stuck in a mummy wall with Pharaoh with a couple people stuck in there with him, I mean, he's just doing all that damage to both those heroes even. So, yeah, it's cool seeing that here in this game.
Absolutely. And one of the other things about this Hellborn side that we haven't really touched on much is their global presence. Having both Aluna and Pharaoh on the same team gives them a huge amount of global damage potential. Yeah. And that's been helping quite a bit. Just by looking at the assists on both Aluna as well as Pharaoh here, they've been very active assisting in those kills all over the map.
Very, very true, yeah, with those being able to not only scout, but just to harass with some damage and even snipe some kills now and then. I don't think we've seen any of that this game yet, but that was always a lot of fun to see. I mean, Silhouette, though, Moon Meander, 440 gold per minute currently. He's got that Shrunken Head finished. Already another 1,400 plus gold saved up. And again, he still has that Token of Life for another just under 2 minutes now. So will Trademark Esports really like to play aggressive here, knowing that they have that? They are kind of grouped up here in the middle lane. Hammerstorm into the party as well. So it looks like they very likely could, as Silhouette even Portal King right there to help take out the Ward of Sight, and then grapples back. But a little bit of group up here going for Trademark Esports, and it looks like they may be pushing this middle lane now.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the inventories, there's a huge difference. I mean, this 17K gold difference is really starting to reflect. I mean, Silhouette has a pretty damn good set of core items here with another 1,700 or so in the bank. I'm sure Moon Meander is feeling very, very good right now. Just glancing at the GPM chart, of course, things are looking good for tdM. I mean, there are plenty of other numbers you can look at to display how well they're doing here, but the GPM graph sort of tells the story very well. Of course, tdM here moving in to push the tier 2 tower in the mid lane, and we're going to take it down pretty much unchecked. Our Legion side just feeling like they don't want to engage head on, even at their own tower.
Yeah, Pebble's pushing the bottom lane in the meantime, just picking up farm down here, going to clean up the next creep wave in the meantime as well. But as you say, you know, no defense put up here by our Black Fate team, and you know, if Pebbles was there, maybe that could have been a little bit different, but he really wanted to finish out Soul's Bulwark, as we see him actually pick up as soon as he ports back to base right after that. So they are now down to 2 outer towers here, already being down that 18,000 plus gold. I know you're just talking about that. I mean, 22,000 plus experience.
Yeah,
it's definitely just getting up there. And you know, earlier I agree with you. I definitely thought it was definitely the numbers may have been a little bit deceiving, but I think they are getting to a point here of it's kind of is reflecting just how this game has been going for tdM and the lead that they really do have. I mean, BxF, they are going to need to rely on some mistakes to happen here. And Forsaken Archer, I mean, their farm's good, but it's just not it's not up there as being great and enough to win the game for your team. So
yeah, it's all about relativity. Like you said, you know, 312 or 318 GPM, that's fine, but against a 450 GPM Silhouette as well as a 440 GPM Hammerstorm, just simply isn't enough. That's really all it comes down to.
Well, you see Hammerstorm again continuing to go at it here at the bottom lane, and there we go. Demonic Breastplate just finished. I know he just purchased something recently. Just gonna wonder what it was. So Demonic Breastplate straight up finished, and yeah, that's a powerful item to have on him. And not only for obviously for the armor effects that you get, but again that attack speed, because that Warp Cleft pickup will just make him that much more powerful. He presses R, gets that brute strength, and he's already hitting for 161 at a great amount of attack speed. He's going to be hitting even that much harder. I believe it's the 150 base percent damage with the increased attack speed as well. So yeah, he's going to be dishing out a lot of damage in these team fights, and also, you know, again, as we keep talking about, that Mighty Swing will allow him to do even AoE damage. So looking very good here, and then of course you got Silhouette, who continues to do her thing.
Yeah, I completely agree with about Hammer Storm with that item. It's just sort of the perfect item for that. But here we see some initiation. Pharaoh going to go straight in. He's going to get stunned down a little bit, but in comes Hammer Storm. Look how much damage he's doing once that ultimate's popped. Looks like he is going to go down and chase down Pebbles. Pebbles falls, and all the while in the back, Moon Meander getting in there, doing a lot of damage, is able to finish off Insania. Looks like SmackDonald may be in a little bit of trouble as well. He's completely oomed. There's the portal key from Hammer Storm, and he is going to drop like butter to a warm knife. A 3-for-0 exchange in favor of tdM, and it looks like it could continue here. Torturer in a little bit of a rocky position is going to activate that ultimate, but I don't know if it's going to be enough here. Just too much damage coming out, and down goes Mzai. So make that a 4-for-0.
Wow. I mean, Hammer Storm just doing so much damage there. 378 maximum damage again for just how fast he can right-click auto attack. That just tore up BxF. But you got to give credit to Trademark right there to starting off that fight. A great Feral player showing it right there once again. Great Tormented Soul Scout on the Ancients, lined up his snipe on a Pebbles right there, and then eventually set up what we saw to be a very, very successful fight there for Trademark Esports. So now they're going to come to the middle lane once again. We do see another snipe coming out from Feral, catching Bubbles, and the power throw on top of that. Easy kill out of Bubbles. All 5 are still here for Trademark Esports, and unfortunately it's only Pebbles and Behemoth that are currently up here for our Legion team. So Trademark Esports trying to tie it up when it comes to Barracks. I don't know if they're going to be able to get this, though. They may decide to fall back. We'll see.
Yeah, it's they probably could kind of commit to this tower kill if they wanted to, but again, that risk in return, they're going to play this safe. Probably the wise decision in this situation. Just going to go back to farming, take their lead, and just make it that much greater. Probably also just waiting for Congor to respawn before they try something a little bit ballsy, like diving into the base.
Yeah, probably don't want to be doing that just yet, despite a solid lead. 4,600 gold, by the way, on Silhouette. So really good. 3,900 gold on a Luna. Oh. That's the last year I'd expect that on, but really just pooling up a lot of that gold. We'll see what she picks up here. Maybe if anything, we could just straight up finish a Shrunken Head if she really wanted to.
Yeah.
But some choices to be made here for our Luna player. Then you have 4,400 on Hammerstorm. And did he just rebuy a Shrunken Head? I think he did. Interesting. So,
wow.
I mean, obviously, yeah, why not? He must have been at 5-second charges, so because like this item's been so powerful for me already this game, why not just get another 10-second charge from then on out? So,
yeah,
not too often you see that early of a buyback on a Shrunken Head, but hey, I got no problems with it.
Yeah, I mean, going back to what you said about Zfree, you know, lastly we would expect is an Aluna to have that much gold, but just looking at the KDAs from tdM over here, I'm not surprised. Aluna is 7-2 and 19 in this game, so seeing those numbers, I'm actually not surprised that he's been able to pick up that item.
Yeah, that's
Shrunken Head, pardon me. That item being Shrunken Head.
Yeah, by the way, did purchase a Shrunken Head herself, so sure enough, that's what it was to be. So 3 to the 5 heroes in Silhouette, Hammerstorm, and Aluna now have that Shrunken Head, making it very difficult for BxF in terms of who they want to jump. We just saw, what did he purchase on Silhouette? I wasn't paying attention to it. Was it Geometer's Bane?
Yeah.
Okay. So Geometer's Bane just purchased on Silhouette, so spending all that gold that he had saved up, and Congor should be resurrecting soon. Here, obviously, that token of life was on Silhouette. It wasn't even used as, where am I looking? Well, I apologize. Congor's over here.
Congor pit looks extra dark. I don't know.
Yeah, for some reason, my monitor is actually a little bit dark for me, so wasn't able to see where the hell is going. That's probably a bad thing. But anyways, Congor is going to be attempted here once again by tdM. But again, Black Fae, they know something's going on, so probably see some more baiting attempt going on now.
Yeah, exactly right. This is one of these situations, sort of a win-win for tdM. They can either bait in a team fight in their favor, or they can pick up a Congor kill. There really aren't too many negatives, assuming they execute this properly, of course. And, of course, the double damage on Pharaoh kind of makes sense why our Legion team is playing a little bit more defensive. I think if BxF allows tdM to pick up Congor unchecked, that is going to be kind of the beginning of the end, at least, for that sort of final push. Congor is going to become super, super important now as we're 42 minutes into this match.
Yeah, if you have to deal with now a token of life here, if you're Black Fade, you have to deal with another token of life. That's just not going to be good whatsoever. Yeah, it's already so bad. Apparently Z-Freak, aka Zach, having some good issues, but the quick pause, and we're back now to resume this game. So nothing too long, but again, they're sitting near that Congor pit, waiting for the right opportunity. We do have Silhouette. She currently has her ultimate ready to use, but not going to use it just yet. Maybe try to distract them, maybe to help her get away eventually if she needs it. But here we go, back into the Congor pit we go, and the Legion team still hanging out around the area. Now, they don't have any great vision of the pit, but again, they got this Word of Sight right here, which is giving them enough information to know at least the attempt is happening. So, but Trademark Esports, as they did last time, is playing it very safe here and not going to overextend by any means. against Black Fade. Where Black Fade, you know, they're just kind of playing very passive themselves for that matter, and waiting for the right opportunity. And they may, well, these are obvious illusions, so with them sitting next to each other, don't think they would ever really jump for that. So yeah, good to be able to pick those off here.
You know, and tdM playing sort of so passively here, as you said, playing it safe. There's a couple ways to read that, but one is just a sign of respect, saying, hey, if we give Black Fade any breathing room here, they're going to capitalize, and that could be the beginning of a comeback if we get too cocky here. So that, you know, could be a sign of respect against BxF here.
Yeah, well, Congor again committing a little bit more to this. They do cut the level 3 puzzle box. Actually being used right there from Pharaoh. I'm going to send them out. It's kind of scout, and there we go. That's the great thing about them too. It does counter ward, and it gets the ward destroyed. So Legion team very aware that this Congor attempt is happening. But it is going to happen, and there's nothing they're going to be able to do about it. So back to what we were just talking about, how big this is going to be for tdM. They now have that token of life on Silhouette. Once again, I'm guessing, yeah, there we go. So this is, you know, really just a timing now here for Trademark Esports in terms of when they really want to try to finish this game. Because with that pickup, that timing can be coming in the near future now.
Yeah, and speak of the devil here, is they're all grouped up in the mid lane, going to push it back, and it looks like they are hungry for some mid lane vengeance, as it may be. Forsaken Archer actually going to go ahead and pick up a Slayer here, which is kind of interesting. She does have the Ice Brand, and I thought she just would have gone straight for that Frostwolf Skull. But actually going to sit on the Ice Brand and can only assume going to be moving into a Savage Maze.
Yeah, I mean, I just think raw damage here, and I can see why. I mean, you are behind. It's just really getting that raw damage, maybe trying to just catch them off guard in those team fights and pick off a hero there, because that just damage output you're putting out with something like that Savage Mace could be very, very valuable. Hell, at this point, why not even just go to Doombringer? Let's be honest.
I was actually just thinking that is where they're far enough behind that that's a situation where Doombringer is warranted. Of course, he's still about 3,500 gold off that, or 3K gold off, I suppose. If I can do math correctly here. But yeah, you make a good point. That certainly would be something viable in this game. Of course, the tier 3 tower in the mid lane going to fall, and now Black Fade with their mid lane of Rax exposed.
Yeah. No, I mean, let's not forget, speaking of Rax, it's still that melee Rax. It's destroyed on Black Fade, or for Black Fade. Obviously, that happened earlier with the one Congor fight. We do see it jump in, though, coming from Hammerstorm. Catching Pebbles. Pharaoh will go ahead as well. Gets tapped away. The double tap, in fact, from Pebbles. It's just not going to be enough. Will eventually fall without doing anything right there. And Hammerstorm is still pissed off. That Shuriken is just too much to handle. GG well plays are being called. And it looks like Trademark Esports will defeat BlackFade.org here in the group stages. And as a result, move to 2-0. Black Fade will go now to 2-1 here.
Yeah, another interesting match for us, and again, being able to see that carry Hammerstorm was absolutely great. So per usual here, we're going to have an interview with one member of the winning team coming up in just a couple of minutes. So of course, stick around, stay tuned to the stream, and we'll see who they have for us for the interview. Yeah, it's always a mystery. Roll the dice a little bit.
Well, we got Trouf in the opening ceremony. So.
Yes, so
you can say Moon Meander.
Could be a Moon.
We'll see. I'm just saying, but we're not the ones that choose. So we'll actually, we don't know either. So
it's a surprise for us, too.
I mean, we happened to guess Slicks earlier.
Yeah, it's I think that looks like Slicks down there.
We'll see.
Yeah, okay.
We'll see who it eventually is. But yeah, for tdM, obviously a big victory for them. And I must say, you know, again, we were both really curious to see it. This is the first time seeing them here at this event. Obviously coming from North America, a long travel for them, but definitely a lot of hype around them. You know, you could say perhaps some pressure being put on them because of that. Jitters against Team GA perhaps in that first matchup. They did end up coming out on top, though, in the end. And they looked solid against a very powerful Black Fade team, as we've seen already in this tournament. So, I mean, a victory here for tdM really does show you that this tournament can really go anywhere. It really can. So.
Yeah, it really does. And it sort of also shows us that some of that analysis we were doing a few weeks ago about what our teams are doing on these online events kind of throw out the window. tdM was really not performing 2 weeks ago on these online events, and it seems the boot camping has really paid off. So that's definitely good to see. And so far, I have no complaints, man. We've been seeing a really diverse mix of heroes. I mean, just seeing a carry Hammerstorm go Alchemist Bones at 6 minutes. When was the last time we saw that?
Didn't expect that.
I mean, so far we couldn't have asked for more for the games that we've been able to cover.
Yeah, that's true. And I think B-Kid, you know, just a lot of credit there, and really excited that he actually took the time or decided to do that when it came to his build, because seeing that build that he did and the farm that he eventually got as a result of that. I mean, that demonic press was so powerful, and the rebuy of the Shrunken Head, again, not something we see too often, especially in a shorter game like that, which you know, lasted eventually around 45 minutes, but. You know, found it to be the right decision, and I agree with it. I mean, obviously, we saw how powerful of an item it was on, or was for him when it was activated. So, might as well get it longer if you can be. So, yeah, that was just a great game, though, overall from tdM. Just very good teamwork. And they, you know, I would be looking out for them now too.
Yeah,
from these other teams out here. So
definitely right. And you know, and we talked about at the early stage, just looking at that laning phase. You know, that's the importance of having a team that has a really strong laning phase. It's that first checkpoint you kind of have to meet. So you see on your screen here, you can see the standings currently updated with the latest of data. I do believe Black Fade sitting 2-1 after that. Now Trademark sitting 2-0, tied up with Esports, who are also 2-0 now.
Yeah, so the group stages, obviously, with the standings starting to shape up a little bit. We're getting an idea of what to expect from these teams, perhaps, and what they're going to bring to the table. Obviously, you play 7 matches in total, so for those that are kind of wondering. By the way, you can go to DREAMHON.com for all these up-to-date stats, not only with the rankings, but, of course, for the kills per game. You got your assists per game, and even your golds per minute for each of the players in this tournament. So a lot of interesting information that you can actually get out of it. So definitely check out that site right there when it comes down to it. So. Speaking of that, looks like you actually have it up right there. We got some interesting things there. Just taking a look at some of the statistics. The game we just saw isn't in there yet, so it's
that makes sense, not a fair representation of tdM. But at the moment, we do have Era leading the way for the highest gold per minute. Big surprise, Breaky.
Wow. Whoa.
Sure, we're all shocked to hear that. But what's really interesting here is both kills per game and assists per game is highest for Orange Esports players. Not the same player. XXF is the highest kills per game, and Wang Wang is the highest assists per game. Which is interesting, given that Orange Esports.
I think that tells you Orange loves to play very aggressive.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's may not lead to success, obviously, with them being 1 and 2, unfortunately, but they're an aggressive team, and that can make it entertaining. And I will say I've been entertained by the 2 matches that we happen to catch there. Definitely. So that's definitely a good way to look at that. But yeah, so DreamHON.com, guys, check it out for yourself. Another announcement I wanted to make, we're just spending a little bit longer here for the interview to get set up. Mid-Wars Challenge. You may have heard of it. It's actually going to be happening on our 3rd day. So, of course, we got today. This is day 1 coverage here of the DreamHON event. Day 2 will continue tomorrow all the way to the grand finals where we'll find out who our DreamHON champions are and winning part of their $60,000 prize pool. But on day number 3, we're actually doing a DreamHON Mid-Wars Challenge. And what that means, there's actually a community team that I believe has already now qualified, and they're now decided on as a result of a kind of a tournament that was thrown together just before this event. So they're going to be playing the eventual winner of the pro team. You know what I mean by that? Keeps going. The pro teams, there's actually 7 captains that are selected, 1 from each team. And then they're going to actually randomly draft. It's actually just going to be a matter of kind of like picking names that have happened, a little bit more fancy, but the same concept. And their team's going to be randomly drafted. So we're going to have, all these pro players being combined together randomly, and they're going to be playing in a Mid-Wars tournament. So, I mean, obviously we're mainly here for this DreamHON event, the main tournament, but that should be fun in itself. So I look forward to that on the 3rd day as well.
Should be very interesting, seeing them all mixed up on the different teams.
Yeah. It's going to be to see how they not only play together, but get along together, you say. But no, obviously, it's all for fun. There's a $1,000 prize pool. With that said, by the way, for the winning team, again, the pro is going to versus the community team. The winner of that gets $1,000. So there is still something on the line.
Some motivation
it's not just
to work
all
together.
for fun and games. Yeah, exactly.
Definitely right.
So yeah, we'll see. But anyways, so the Mid-Wars, again, that's on day number 3. But for today, still plenty more Heroes of New Earth action coming at you guys. So we'll be back with our next batch coming up in the near future. So definitely stick around. Once again, I was Breaky CBK.
And I'm Zayori. Plenty more action coming your way here at DreamHack Summer 2012.